something terrifying? The prophecy of the popes.
Oh boy.
This book was found in the Vatican archives, predicted every single pope from in 1143 all the way to our current pope. But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the last one, it just says Judgment Day.
Oh gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yes, the creepiest thing that I saw inside St. Paul's Basilica, bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers to where you could put a picture. There's one left after Pope Francis. They have always said that once that last slot is filled, it will be the end of the world. What he predicted, the time it took to go from the first pope that he wrote about, halfway mark, was 422 years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. If you do 422 years from the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
It's even weirder. Pope John the 23rd, and he said that the end of the world would happen 2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027 as well.
Viewers, you don't know who the cameraman is.
No,
You don't know why you're being made to see these things. Nor do I. You're seeing me. I can't even see you. I may be dead by the time you watch this. Very possibly are. You don't know who's the man who's making things he wants you to see. Destroy your television set. Now. You must listen to no orders. That's all I can tell you for this point in humanity. Believe me.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there. Like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
Hollywood Records contract, and I'm signing it to have my first record ever and selling my soul to Hollywood Records.
time has come. I'm gonna break it quick, clean, get it done with. Doesn't matter that I signed the blood oath. Doesn't matter anymore. The Illuminati's real. I'm a member. That's how Imagine Dragons got famous.
The labels tell you, listen, you have to sit down with Spotify, sit down with Apple. You have to do this interview. You have to. If you don't want to, you have to. You have to go see this person and sit down and talk to them. You have to go and do this. You have to. Literally, you can say, I don't feel like doing it. I don't even like that person. You have to. You're a puppet.
Oh, he sold his soul. She sold his soul. If you sign that contract, and got that money, you sold your soul. Period. Point blank period. As soon as you signed that contract, you sold your soul. Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you. Now figure that out. Talking about I sold my soul for you. You're not coming right with me, you dummies.
I don't know if you've had this, but I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And, yeah. Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's an entire country we don't know about?
What if I told you there's a part of the earth no one's ever seen? At least, not the people you know. Everyone's stuck believing the earth is this perfect little globe where sure, you just stroll in a circle, and boom, you're back where you started. Cute idea, right? But tell me, why don't we just cross Antarctica? Oh, right, because nobody ever has. You think it's just this cold, useless slab of ice at the bottom of the world, but that's the lie. Antarctica? It's not just land, it's a wall, a barrier. It locks us inside the tiny part of the earth we think we know. And what lies beyond, that's where things get interesting. The people in power, they know what's on the other side. They make sure you stay clueless like good little sheep, believing you live on 7 continents. But you've got no idea what's out there. Whole continents. Oceans bigger than the Pacific. And humans who have lived beyond that ice wall for centuries were nothing more than their experiment, caged inside this small, controlled space. That's the real reason no one lets you explore Antarctica. They don't want you wandering too far because once you cross that ice, you'd realize we're not in charge of this world at all.
The Vatican, there are 32 archways on each side of the courtyard, with a giant obelisk in the middle. The Pope's cassock has 32 buttons, and his head represents the 33rd. The United Nations flag shows the globe divided into 33 sections encircled by olive branches. The flag also happens to be blue, just like the first 3 blue degrees of Masonry. 33 is the highest degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Freemason, and Disneyland has a Club 33. During World War II, 33rd degree Winston Churchill gave us the V for Victory, 2-finger salute, which since the 60s became peace. Before it stood for victory or peace, it was a symbol of the 33rd degree. There are 3 joints to the knuckle on 2 fingers making 33. Then held apart like a V is about 33 degrees. Everything changes at 33.
Now notice also, this is the body of an alien, and where we have 6 ribs that are connected together, they have 3. And the total height is less than 5 feet. And they still look like this, not like you and I.
The United States is owned by foreign corporations. Nixon opened it up for foreign trade. And when Nixon opened up for foreign trade, the people of Europe and the common market and Spain and different places, they don't care about the United States forest. And in short, the United States has been sold out by people who really don't care for anything but money. I've had all the money in the world 3 times. I had to give it back to keep the game going.
What game?
The game. It's a game. Money is a game. It's only real to the people who work for it. The people that don't need to work for money, it's a monopoly game. It's a game of paper. It's all on paper. I've got a production company, and I've got a recording company, and I've got a mansion in Beverly Hills, and I've got Rolls Royces and Ferraris. I've got everything money can buy, but it's all on paper. Everything's done through the companies and through the tax loopholes, and the people that live on that level, they don't care about the average honest mule that just goes back and forwards to work. They don't care about the children that are in the streets that are thrown out of this upper echelon of existence. And then when all the children fall down into me, on my level, I pretty much identify with them because I was a throwaway also. So it goes to the point of, do you really care?
When you said...
And who does care? And if anybody cares, they're considered crazy. I've been 15 years in the nut ward for trying to stop the trees from being cut down, from trying to rearrange a lifestyle of a bunch of people who don't want to change. But they're going to change because the cold wind is blowing.
Slaves used to work all day, every day, with no pay. But they got free food, water, and shelter. Today, we work all day, nearly every day, and we get paid. But the money we make, we spend on food, water, and shelter. We're still slaves. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom.
The entrances! That's a base! It's buried in the mountain!
This way, there's another chamber. Look at that scale. It just keeps going. Unbelievable. They're all moving downriver. A procession of the dead, Ooh, what were they? Look, they're everywhere. How many are there?
If you guys want to know if someone actually loves you, when they give you flowers, you can tell if they really love you if the flowers die quickly or they survive longer. And listen, just hear it out. Just hear it out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are gonna be saying that's a dumb superstition, right? But look, when someone says my mom cooks with love, doesn't your mom's cooking taste way better than any other person?
Yeah, it's
or,
true.
Or a lot of people can say, yeah, it's a bad bunch of flowers, but isn't it like we always talk about the plants? They go through energy and frequency.
So if you get plants and they wither quickly, that means what?
The person doesn't like you because the frequency that they have, bad energy or the low frequency, they're giving it to you. They're passing it on to the flower. I swear that plant was here for like the beginning of last year. Hasn't died yet, bro.
Hasn't died yet.
I don't water it. I don't water it. That's still good. I've never watered that plant the moment we've got it.
I water it, bro.
Yeah, okay. I take care of it, bro. Yo, allow for the theory, bro.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
I don't want to be presumptuous here. I can call you Buzz, okay?
That's a legal name, passport, driver's license.
And I am Uncle Coney tonight. Let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does, I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon,
No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Well,
8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
What is cancer exactly?
It's an attack by a parasite, an unusual parasite, which attempts to reproduce its intermediate stages in you. I have to somehow get the word out to the people who are suffering that there is a cure and that it isn't expensive, they can do it themselves, and they can be successful. Herbs that kill them all, whether it's the eggs or the redia or the cercaria or myricidia.
These are all the stages.
These are all the complicated little stages, are a wormwood combination, a ground clove, and the third herb is an extract of the green hull of the black walnut tree. You have to use them together because you have to kill everything at once, otherwise one thing turns into the next.
Right. How long do you have to take this?
5 days or 6 days.
That's it?
That's it.
And what happened? The parasites are...
Yes, all the parasitic stages are gone. Now, you might think, well, the cancer still goes on, but it doesn't. That was the amazing thing. The good news is that when you kill them, all that growth factor is removed. That excess growth factor is immediately removed. And the cancer stops.
I wanted to ask Tim a question. Okay, so Tim, I do want to ask you, what does...
This water been open.
No, it hasn't.
Bill, throw me one.
No, it's still water.
It's cool. I just don't play about stuff like that. Think somebody's trying to get at me.
Now, Tim, I want to ask you, what
major event that's taking place in the world right now is all a part of the plan. Drones, ETs, Luigio, all of this shit is all part of the New World Order. I just want people to understand one thing. There is no outside threat coming from outer space. The threat is already here, and they really hate us. It's really us against them, but so many people can't see this. Why can't they see it? Because they are waiting for a savior. The elites know that spiritual people are waiting for UFOs to come back, and religion people are waiting for Jesus to come back. So if they use Project Bluebeam and project alien spacecrafts or project Jesus coming out of it, they won. I keep trying to tell people they're going to lock us back down pretty soon because this is the New World Order. We are about to lose all of our rights. January 16th, 1991, he addressed the nation speaking about UFOs and how it can make all of us come together. One world government. This is all connected to the Pope because once the Pope opened up those tombs, Lucifer will be released, and once he is released, he will be the leader of the New World Order. Remember, when they say look up, look down. They say look left, look right. Stop falling for the bait. If you want to know more, my book is available. The link is in my bio.
Now, I'm going to casually mention to you something that's very scary indeed. And tell you what the alien agenda is. And it's going to sound very familiar. The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet, the killing off of 5, 6 to 7/8 of the world's population by the year 2029. U.S. military has known about this for 45 years. They've told no one. As far as I know, I'm the only person standing before a crowd talking about the alien agenda, secretively.
Hello. My name is Montague William III. And what I will tell you may well sound absurd, but the less who believe it, the better for me. For you see, I'm in banking and big industry. For many a year we have controlled your lives, while you all just struggle and suffer in strife. We created the things that you don't really need, your sports cars and fashion, plasma TVs. I remember it clearly how all this begun. Family secrets from father to son. Inherited knowledge that gives me the edge, while you people lie sleeping at night in your beds. We control the money that controls your lives. Whilst you worship false idols and wouldn't think twice about selling your souls for a place in the sun. These things that won't matter when your time is done. But as long as they're there to control the masses, I just sit back and consider my assets, safe in the knowledge that I have it all, while you common people are losing your jobs. You see, I just hold you in utter contempt. But the smile on my face, well, it makes me exempt. For I have the weapon of global TV, which gives us connection and invites empathy. You would really believe that we look out for you, while we bankers and brokers are only a few. But if you saw that, you'd take back the power. Hence, daily terrors to make you all cower. The panics, the crashes, the wars, and the illness that keep you from finding your spiritual wholeness. We rig the game, and we buy out both sides.
So music used to be tuned to 432.
We talk about hurts all the time. Please don't hurt me.
We're going deep, baby.
Don't talk about it. We literally, yeah.
The Nazis,
Yeah.
for their propaganda programs, tuned it to 440 because it was more applicable to, I forget the exact wording, but it made your brain more susceptible to iconography or to
Brainwashing. Propaganda,
Yeah.
brainwashing,
To
manipulation.
Suggestion, I think is the word I was looking for. And so now we tune all our music to 440 because of that.
It's also a little bit irritating to the body.
Yeah.
And
Intentionally so.
Intentionally so.
Yeah.
I was in the studio a long time ago, and I was like, I would like to tune all my stuff to, what's the right number?
432.
432. And they're like, oh, we can't. It would take too many dials and stuff.
Yeah.
And it would all sound out of tune to people.
Yeah.
But that is
Interesting.
real.
Well, because actually, I know that does make sense now because you can't tune, like you can't melodyne to 432. You
cannot.
can't do that. You can't auto-tune to
You have
432.
you have to sing the whole song and then change it and then change each thing into it.
Yeah.
Which is I can't.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's strange. It's very
further
strange.
proof of the manipulation. We often talk about how we think we're so free.
We're not
free.
And we're not. We're
Yeah.
very controlled.
I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but why does tornadoes never hit banks? It never hit prisons, military bases, police stations, or casinos. But somehow they always find neighborhoods, homes, schools, especially the ones full of kids. You think that's by chance? By coincidence? No, that's targeting. Remember, what I say here is for entertainment purpose only. So why is this happening? You're watching engineered weather in real time. Tornadoes don't spin blindly. They're guided because man stopped predicting weather a long time ago and started controlling it. Need proof? Project Cumulus. Look it up. The UK literally seeded clouds to cause rain. That was in the 1950s. During the Cold War, the US openly studied hurricane steering and rain-making weapons. Then suddenly, silence. And now we have HARP, radar fog control, and classified tech. Yet somehow, these deadly storms always skip the money and hit the poor, always spare the system and crush the people. Ask yourself, what's more effective than a bomb? A storm, one that kills children, wipes homes, breaks spirits, and no one's blamed. If elite buildings are untouched, maybe they're shielded. Maybe they're using tech we're not even allowed to whisper about. They say act of God, but what if it's an act of government? Wake up, this isn't weather, this is warfare with clouds for cover.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
When I was a girl, I was procured and sent to work for a family. There was a boy, the boy's mother, and the boy's grandfather. They were coming from Africa. They were white as me. I thought they'd be black. And because of something the boy did, I never told what he did. The boy did something very dark. When he was very little. And then one day I asked someone in the circle, Imelda, Joaquin's mother. I asked Imelda, I said, is he the Antichrist? I was 13 years old. She didn't even blink. She said, no, but he will present the mark. And when you see him do that, the Antichrist will take the stage. So, Now here we are, 40 years later. Boom, that boy is the star of the world. The boy's name then was El Elyon. It's changed over time. We're 40 years later. And I see that boy everywhere, and the world adores him, but he's the king of Babylon.
The darkest conspiracy theories. The Adam and Eve document. It explains how the world will end. They say that the world is going to end because of the shifting of North and South Pole. And once it happens, it causes an unstoppable apocalypse that is going to destroy humanity.
The reason they teach you to like put your head down in a crash and stuff like that is to make because if you crash headfirst in an airplane, not only are you for sure gonna die, but just to make sure, like if you're in that position, your spine would shoot through your fucking head. Like it would kill you instantly, right? So the theory is that they have you get in that position to make sure you die. Because the lawsuit if you survive a commercial plane crash is like ridiculous.
That's a wild.
It makes sense to me. I get everything's run by money, dude.
Jeanette McCurdy, who played Sam in iCarly, recently released a book called I'm Glad My Mom Died.
What?
And it's literally her posing and smiling and holding her mom's urn that seems to be filled with like confetti, I guess. And it's a great cover, right? But it's a memoir explaining her experience within that industry as a child star and how she was abused by her mother from a very young age. She started acting at 6 years old, I think. Jeanette, aka Sam, got offered $300,000 after she parted way from Nickelodeon to not address anything that happened inside of Nickelodeon publicly.
$300,000?
$300,000, and she declined it. It gets even weirder when you consider the fact that Nickelodeon has this weird obsession with feet.
Dan Schneider, right?
Dan Schneider is his name. Her first kiss was on camera with Freddie. Dan Schneider appeared on set to direct that specific episode, and he kept giving her cues on what to do. Like, I need you to do more head movement during the kiss. I need you to do whatever. And she said she was so uncomfortable because I think she comes from like a Mormon background or something like that, like a hyper-religious background. Stars throughout various Nickelodeon shows, like they would expose their feet and do weird stuff to it, like squirt ketchup on top of it,
or
slime,
draw like faces on the toes and stuff.
suck their own toes. Ariana Grande sucked her own toes on camera and did a whole segment where she's in bed being like a child and then doing these things with her.
This is the most insane coincidence in history. Okay, you're familiar with Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, right? Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John F. Kennedy, 1946, 100 years later. Abe was elected president in 1860. JFK, 1960. Both presidents were concerned with civil rights. Both wives of the presidents lost a child while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both presidents were shot in the head. Lincoln's secretary, guess what her name was?
Sheila.
Kennedy. JFK's secretary, guess what her name was?
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
That's a little weird, actually.
Both were assassinated by Southerners, and both were succeeded by Southerners named Johnson. So you have Andrew Johnson in 1808 and Lyndon B. Johnson in 1908. John Wilkes Booth was born in 1839. He murdered Abe. Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939, 100 years later.
It's actually pretty nuts right now.
Both assassins were known for 3 names. Both names, how many letters in each?
15 letters.
15 letters in each name.
That's actually crazy.
It's getting fishy. Lincoln was shot at a theater named Ford. John F. Kennedy was shot in a car named Lincoln by Ford.
Whoa, that's crazy, actually.
This is, it keeps going, Brian. I'm not done yet. I got 3 more. Both assassins were killed before their trials. A week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before JFK was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe.
Whoa, that's crazy. Oh my God. So what's the synopsis here? Are they the same person?
They might be the same person, or history repeats itself.
Wasn't an iceberg that sank the Titanic. Everyone knows the story of how the Titanic hit an iceberg and sank. But what if there was evidence that wasn't the case? Well, you see, the owner of the company White Star Line actually had 3 ships, the Titanic, the Britannic, and the Olympic. Now, out of the 3 ships, the Olympic was the oldest and took the most beating. It was rumored that with it being involved in multiple collisions, it wasn't financially viable anymore, and the company White Star Line was looking for a way to get rid of it, thus swapping it out with the Titanic for its maiden voyage. However, if you look closely at old photos, you'll see that there was actually a burn mark across the side of the ship, even before before it departed. Furthermore, survivors from the interview maintained that they didn't see an iceberg, and rather they heard a loud explosion before the ship sank. Was it a raging fire that caused the explosion, leading to the sinking of the ship? Many people are starting to wonder if it's possible that
there's a theory that if somebody at Chuck E. Cheese doesn't finish their whole pizza, and there's like a few pieces left, the employee will take that to the back, take those pieces off the tray, and form a new pizza with all the other leftovers, and then reheat it and serve it to a new customer. Now, I know what you're thinking, Shane, that's crazy. Well, here is a picture of the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese. Every piece is a different size. That piece is longer than that piece, which is shorter than that piece. These pieces in the back are shorter than those pieces, and none of the pepperonis line up. Oh, shit. It's not just this picture, it's almost every picture you find of Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and nobody's talking about it. So I noticed this when I was like 8 years old or something, and I was just like, wait a minute, how come all the pieces are different?
This is in Arizona?
This is in Arizona. And this really rich guy, he's a, what is it? He's a Rothschild. A Rothschild. He bought this town of Felicity and named it after his wife, Felicity.
Wait, is this real?
Who we think we ran into.
Can we make sure that this is real?
We visited it.
Go for tours of this place.
Oh, we did a tour. We did a horrifying.
Why?
They tried to get us in the center of the pyramid, in the center of the thing, put our foot in the middle, save this thing and make a wish and then sign a contract. And I was like, and we were like, I'm not doing that. And she was like, well, it's the only part of the tour you have to do. And they go, to do the tour. And that's when we said, we don't want to do the tour anymore. We're going to leave. And she was pissed. And then they said, she goes, this right here is the center of the world.
How could anyone fly a 60-ton, 125-foot wide, 44-foot tall plane through this obstacle course?
The aircraft, before striking the Pentagon, reportedly executed a 270-degree downward spiral, and yet Hani Hanjour was known as a terrible pilot who could not safely fly even a small plane.
No seats, no luggage, no bodies. Nothing but bricks and limestone.
The official explanation is that the intense heat from the jet fuel vaporized the entire plane. Flight 77 had 2 Rolls-Royce engines made of steel and titanium alloy and weighs 6 tons each. It is scientifically impossible that 12 tons of steel and titanium was vaporized by jet fuel.
We're also told that the bodies were able to be identified either by their fingerprints or by the DNA. So what kind of fire can vaporize aluminum and tempered steel and yet leave human bodies intact?
From my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. And as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand.
Shortly after the strike, government agents picked up debris and carried it off. The entire lawn was covered with dirt and gravel, so that any remaining forensic evidence was literally covered up. The videos from security cameras, which would show what really hit the Pentagon, were immediately confiscated by agents of the FBI, and the Department of Justice has to this day refused to release them. If these videos would prove that the Pentagon was really hit by a 757, most of us would assume the government would release them.
But it is what it is. Like, it's like anything in my life. I mean, if you read the book, you'll be like, transitioning from Disney to this was fucking easy. I don't know, getting molested from your 6 to your 14 seems like way harder circumstances, or being physically abused all the time seems like a much more difficult situation than fucking have paparazzi following you since you were 12. I don't know. I was still being molested when paparazzi were still fucking following me. So it's pretty hard in my mind to think about these big flashlight photographs and everyone thinking they know me and talking about me, but having no idea the type of mistreatment that I was still dealing with at that time, that everyone around me saw and did nothing. So I don't know. You tell me what's so hard. Because that to me, way harder than any other of this other shit that I do on a daily basis.
Wait, why do people say the universe ended in 2012? I was literally in school back then.
That's the thing. Some scientists and conspiracy theorists believe CERN's particle collider accidentally destroyed our universe around 2012 or 2013.
Destroyed? Like, how would we even survive that?
We didn't. The theory says the collider triggered a vacuum collapse or a micro black hole. Our reality ended instantly, but our consciousness slipped into a parallel timeline almost identical to the old one.
So you're saying we're living in a copy of the universe right now?
Exactly. That's why people talk about the Mandela effect. Tiny glitches, like misremembered logos or events. The weirdness after 2012, social media explosion, politics going insane. It's all because reality got rebooted.
So the Mayans weren't wrong. The world really did end in 2012.
Maybe it did, and maybe this, right now, is just the backup.
Leave me alone. I said, leave me alone! I'm tired of you messing with me. Stop it! Are you ready? Stop it! Leave me alone! Stop! Get out of my way. Move!
God's chosen ones never go to church, and before you gasp, before you judge, you better ask yourself what church you're even talking about. Because if you think God's elect are defined by pews, programs, and potlucks, you've already missed the gospel. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to make you feel better about your lukewarm walk. I'm here to tell you the truth. Some of you are more faithful to your Sunday schedule than you are to Christ. And hell will be filled with churchgoers who thought attendance was obedience. You honestly believe that going to church once or twice a week somehow makes you right with God? Do you really think the Almighty looks down from his throne and is impressed that you put on a suit, walked into a building, and sang 3 songs before checking your phone during the sermon? Let me tell you something that will shatter every shallow assumption you've been clinging to. God is not fooled by your routine. God is not mocked by your ritual. And God is not glorified by your attendance. He demands your obedience. We are living in an age of religious deception where millions have been inoculated against the true gospel by watered-down sermons, emotional music, and the lie that going to church equals knowing Christ. You sit in a pew. You nod at the sermon. You close your eyes during the prayer. But you leave unchanged. Why? Because your heart is still dead in sin. You're not a follower of Jesus. You're a fan of religious culture. The Pharisees went to synagogue, they tithed, they fasted, they knew the scriptures better than most pastors today, and yet Jesus said to them, "You are of your father the devil." Why? Because their hearts were unrepentant. They loved the appearance of holiness, not the reality of it. They clung to the structure but rejected the Spirit. They worshiped God with their lips, but their hearts were far from Him. Sound familiar? It is a terrifying truth that many of you have more confidence in your weekly attendance than in the finished work of Christ. You think that showing up on Sunday makes up for the rest of the week you spend in compromise. You believe that because your name is on a church roll, it's written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you are trusting in your religion, not in the Redeemer. And that trust will damn you. Let me say it plainly. The true Christian life is not 1 hour on a Sunday. It is a complete surrender of every part of your being to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. It is the daily crucifixion of self. It is holiness in secret, not performance in public. It is not about what you do in a building. It's about who you are when no one is watching. Amen.
There are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. With Immaculate Constellation, how does this relate to UAP activities, Mr. Schellenberg, in oceanic environments? Are there any instances where the Navy or other maritime forces have encountered UAPs that could not be explained by known technology or natural phenomena?
Yeah, the Immaculate Constellation covers both terrestrial and oceanic, and there's actually a number of cases described in the report that occur in the ocean.
And do you believe that there is a concerted effort by the Pentagon to keep Congress out of the loop regarding these UAP activities, specifically in our waters?
Yes.
Are there any accounts of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our water, which could indicate a base or presence beneath the ocean's surface?
I don't know about a base, but, as I mentioned, I had a different source entirely describe this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
Here's propaganda we don't stand for. 1. The Earth and the stars have never looked like this. Actually, they've always looked like this. NASA was created to deceive the population and to try to mock God. Those images are CGI. Now for the best part. The Earth is a circle made with a compass laid upon a flat plane which is bounded at both of its ends. It does not move. It's covered by a dome which surrounds the sun, moon, and the stars. Next, lethal injections, specifically childhood injections. They're completely inhumane and contain microchips which are able to be activated and inactivated and also track your sleep, your thought patterns, your activity, etc., with the use of frequency being emitted from the 5G towers. Yeah, I know they hid the fact that breast milk is actually the only vaccination your child needs. It contains all fatty acids, minerals, vitamins, hydrogen peroxide, which is extremely antibacterial and antiviral for the baby's system, and immunoglobulins, which is their entire immune system. Hate to break it to you, kid, but dinosaurs don't exist. Never have. Actually, the bones that they dig up are the remains of giants during the Tartarian times. What a dream killer. Ooh, this one's gotta be my favorite. I won't worship all of you. I only worship the one true king. By the way, the number's a lot closer to 217,000 than 6 million. 3 meals a day was created by the Rockefeller Foundation. Our ancestors didn't eat 3 times a day. If they ate 3 times a week, that was a lot. Your body is meant to be in a fasted state. Why do you heal when you sleep? Because you're fasted. Your body's able to take the energy that it normally would take if it was breaking down and assimilating food. Instead, it's putting it towards healing and rejuvenating the body. Feeling sick? Don't go to the white coat who has no idea what he's talking about. Throw a 36-hour fast at it. Stem cells are activated. They go to the area of injury. They go to the areas that need healing. Your body thrives in a fasted state. If you're a woman, you fast differently than a man does. Don't buy into the 3 meals a day. It was created to keep you fat, lazy, and relying on the Rockefeller food system. Never should obesity be in style, ever. I thought I was done, but I'm never done. We don't look up to Hollywood over here. They're the land of pedos, vampires, and traffickers. They all do the same heinous, disgraceful crimes and keep each other from snitching and in check with the use of mind control and blackmail. It's the name of the game. I'm out.
We want to go from New Zealand to Argentina, which is right about here. And it's a direct path. Can definitely make it in one shot. So let's see what Google Flights has to say. Auckland to Argentina. Just making up a date here. Explore. Okay, now we're going to select Buenos Aires. Let's go ahead and select the first flight. Here are our options. Okay, so on United we have Auckland going to San Francisco, San Francisco to Houston, Houston finally into Buenos Aires. But why? That seems like a waste of gas to go from Auckland all the way to San Francisco, over to Texas, and then all the way down to Argentina. Okay, now hear me out. Let's see what the flat earth model depicts. You just have to see this for yourself. Look at this. So this is New Zealand. Aha, San Francisco, Houston, down to Argentina. You would not be able to make it on one take.